Hello everyone, this is Lolly. Today I want to share my tribute to Wonder Woman paperclip, and this is the theme for the paperclip group I run. This month's theme was a letter of the alphabet, and I chose W to remind me of Wonder Woman, and Wonder Woman is partial to me, and I will explain in the video. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and get creating. So what you're going to need are 2 circle dies or hole punches, and these ones are from Echo Park. Make sure you look under this video, because under every video I give you a supply list. I give you other links that I mention in the video. So that's where you're going to find it. You need to expand that information though to get to it. So what I'm going to do is take the outer circle, and I'm using this grid to try and center it right there. And then I'm going to use the smaller one and center it in that. It helps so that I can get an even, consistent cut. Then I'm going to use my yellow tape, tape those together. You could put 3 strips in here, but I'm not spacing these out on purpose. And the reason is I need to leave a hole here so that when I do my die cut, that I can still poke the paper through from the other side. So that's what it looks like. Before you tape those together, cut 2 of the back, the big circle. I just like to have 2 for a nice sturdy, foundation to this. And then for the rings for this, I cut, this is about 8 rings, but you need to look at the dimension of your cardstock and decide for you what works best. Another alternative is to just cut foam, because it's so much thicker. I like working with foam, but the edges get kind of crimped. They get really flattened on the very, very edge. So when you put them together, you see there's a gap between them. I don't like that. I like the nice smooth edge, and I can tell I probably want another one of these. Also, before I tape these together, I run this through once on acetate. Now, acetate is kind of hard to get a good seal, to get it to cut, but it does deboss it so well that you can get in there and easily cut right along that end, because it shows you right where to cut. Okay, so we have our goodies, and I used the letter W. Now you could do this shaker for anything. You don't have to do this as a Wonder Woman tribute like I am. And I use gold cardstock for that. I'm going to use my Barely Art glue here. This is a Barely Art glue bottle, but through constant use, the label just started getting kind of gross. So I ended up taking the label off, but it is Barely Art. I'll also give you a link down below to how to make these cute little bear toppers for your pins. Then we just want to build these up, saving one for the top. Okay, and you just keep putting these on there. Make sure you line them up. I'm just kind of rolling them with my finger to make sure I get it completely lined up right. I'm looking at how this is coming along, and I can't give you a really hard and fast, 100% true indication of how many layers of cardstock you're going to need, because it depends on the thickness or the weight of the cardstock, and I can see that I am going to need more. So what I will do is off camera, I will go and cut some more of these red rings so that I have a nice deep hole here. I could see I am nowhere near where I want to be, especially if you're going to put something like buttons. Now I realize this is a very small shaker. I don't know that we have room for buttons, but just so you know, anything really thick, you might not have room in there. See, I like the nice smooth end that I get there. That's why I'm not using the foam. Okay, we're going to pause, and we're going to cut some more of those. I'm going to add all 3 of these on there off camera. I want to make sure this isn't too staticky, so I'm going to use this anti-static bag here. Put that and just kind of push it on the inside a little bit here. Still wipe that off, make sure I don't get that in there. And then we need to put our supplies in here. I would really love to have gold stars, but I don't have any gold stars. So I do have this jumbo glitter, and I know it is extremely staticky. So you can see just by opening it, it's falling all over. And this is these little gold diamond colors. This helps the sequins to move around freely. These are called Toppings Diamond Pastel from Queen & Company. I don't even know if they still have those. So let's see if we could do this. I don't know if this will help, but we'll try. Maybe a little less. We are going to have these all over. Now, this isn't going to be too shaky. There we go. Again, these are just going to help with the movability or the shakeability of this. The next thing we want to do is to get that acetate on there. And you know, most glues aren't going to work really good with acetate, but I have found that this really helps. This is a syringe that I have my Fusion Tack adhesive in. Okay. And it doesn't have to be pretty. You will not see this. I do want to say, though, that in gluing acetate with this, it does take quite a while to set up. So that is the bummer for that, but it is what it is. I'm just kind of smooshing that around so it gets even. Now, also because that is acetate, we need to use that to glue this to the acetate too. And this is our topper here. This is our prettiest one of all of the toppers that I made. You don't need a whole lot because it does squish around in there. Now this dries clear and shiny, so it's not going to be a problem that you have some of this maybe oozing out under the acetate. You won't really see it. So I'm just going to hold that for a moment. Now, what I have done before is to lay a book over it, but I mean like a lightweight notebook. You don't want it really, really heavy. And then while that is setting up, I'm going to add this first. We are not done though, so hold tight. Please make sure you check out the links down below. And also, if you wouldn't mind subscribing to my channel if you're new here. I do a lot of craft tutorials and especially paperclip art. So now I want this to really stay on here. So I'm going to find something small. This would do it. Like this itty bitty right there and right there. Now we are not going to clean this syringe out yet because we are going to keep using that. While this is setting up, I want to show you, I want to add some little white dots. Again, I wish I had stars, but I don't. So I'm going to use Diamond Dots Premium Resin Dots, and this is number 8002. Just sprinkle those around there. Get my jewel picker ready. Let's see how we're doing here. Pretty good. So I noticed that in the design for, you know, a lot of the emblems for Wonder Woman, there's little white stars around there, which we don't have. So we're just going to use these to make up. And I think what I'll do is put it on this stitch line so that I can hit it in the same spot every time. Use the jewel picker. Oops, I don't need the big one. Now, if your jewel picking tool ever stops working, all you have to do is rinse it off. And again, remember that this glue dot dries clear but shiny, so you're going to be careful not to get too much squirting out like I just did. If you ever go to set something down and your jewel and it won't come off, just roll your jewel picking tool and it will work just fine. Please give this video a thumbs up, and let me tell you about our paperclip art group on Facebook. It's a group for inspiration. That is the main goal. We want to inspire you to create beautiful altered paper clips, but we also have a monthly theme to encourage you and give you ideas. This theme for this month, July, is a letter. Any letter of the alphabet or more than one letter of the alphabet. And so that's why I chose the W. I'm partial to Wonder Woman. I always say it makes me think of me because I wonder about myself sometimes. Okay, so the only thing I wish I had a smaller W, because you really can't see under here that we've got blue paper in the background too well. So let that firm up, and because I personally know that I am not going to be using this again, so what I'm going to do is pull this back, get some air into that needle. It's a blunt tip needle, and then I can rinse that out, even soak it overnight if I want. For this, I push the syringe back up just until I see the glue, and I'm never really good at that because I always push it too hard, too fast. There it is, right there. And then I cap this again so that that keeps the air out. Let that set up, and we will put these back in here. Perfect. And we will come back and put the back on this really quickly. So that's good enough for me to work with. But I'm disappointed in that I can't see the blue background because of all the gold glitter. So I thought at first maybe I could come and do this, which is the very next size in the circle. But really, I think that's too big for what I want. So I'm just using these. And this is kind of a banner type thing that I got, one of my dies. A label, not a banner. So I have 2 of those for stability, but I did a third one. I ran out of the color blue I really wanted, but I had enough for 1 more of these. So let's add that in there. This will be the top, because that's the one we're going to see from the front. Oh, perfect. I just love this color of blue. It was one of those little tiny scraps I had left over. All right, so now when we put that on there, oh, that's much, much better. Love it. Let's push this down for a minute. It's going to take it a minute to set up. And then I just used the same gold paper that I did the W with, and I punched 2 gold stars out. My jewel picker, because it works for cardstock as well. That looks a lot perkier. Okay, so I think that adding the blue really helped. The last thing we need to do is just get our paperclip blank. These are in my shop, so I will give you the link down below. I always keep the paperclip blanks in my shop. And what happens though is if I let the listing run out accidentally, it will show up like I don't have any when I actually do. So just message me and I will make sure that I give you a fresh link. It's always a new link. If I let that expire, I have to be careful. Okay. So let's get that on there. Paperclip blanks are a great way to get a nice finished look on the back of your project. So there we go. Okay, and we're going to let that set up completely. So thank you for giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to my channel. Make sure you also check out in the links. I'm going to give you a link to my entire playlist for all my paperclip videos. I think you are going to have fun playing around. Plenty of videos to binge watch. Thank you for watching.